expecting for it to be like that. How is everybody today? Good? I like this color scheme better.
This nice. Color scheme?
Yeah. Like slightly orangey.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know what's happening right here.
Finally made alive. I don't know.
I just skip. I did that, but then it kept skipping.
Sorry, our laptop is trying to reset itself. I hope it's not resetting.
Not now. Skip.
So we don't have a particular topic today. Good morning from Michigan. Good morning, everybody. I see a couple people that were like, we finally made it live.
Seems like we've had a lot of newer people on the channel, so welcome.
What do you guys want to talk about this morning? We don't have a topic. I'll just kind of tell you where we are at, and then we can start diving into your questions. So if you have them, or just a topic in general, you're like, man, I really wish that you would have made a video about this, we can start diving in to that. I do have a list of like a ton of videos that we need to do, and we'll be getting to those soon. Someone said, I loved your video about the flow of an item. That was a lot of fun. Guys, that took a lot of work. When did we start that? Was it like September, November?
It was like November, yeah.
Yeah, so we originally sourced the item in like November. And then because we're like sourced a few weeks ahead, and then we schedule a few weeks ahead, that item didn't end up actually going live, I don't think, until like, I don't know, maybe like a month later. And then we had that issue with, the actual brand name and it having a space in it. Either way, it was a very long journey, and I am very proud of both of us for not losing any footage, because I was like, for sure I lost something, and we didn't. We had everything.
Y'all, that was a mess. I filmed a lot of it. Whenever I film things, I'm really dumb. Like, I don't even think about rotating my phone, so half the time you get things like up and down when they should be sideways, and it's been a mess, but we did it somehow. It happened, and I'm excited for it. So I'm glad you guys enjoyed it. We have talked about doing another one about like bulk processes, so that stay tuned. But know that could be like another 3 months, because it might take us that long to sell stuff. So
I think maybe we'll do one of just like a batch of whatever we sourced that day, but not actually follow through the process of it actually selling.
Just everything leading up to. That'd be good.
Yeah, I think that'd be good.
Good morning. Let's see. We have good morning from Michigan, Tennessee, more Michigan, lots of Michigan, Maine. I was thinking about Maine a couple days ago. I was thinking that'd be nice. Good morning.
I used to live in Maine when I was a kid.
Autumn says, can we talk about your Flint and Tinder honey hole you found last week? I'm on the hunt for that and some Rowan.
So funny story. So we did that haul, or Nikki did the haul, and I found a bunch of that at regular price at a Goodwill in our area. In the same region, over the last several weeks, we have been going into also Goodwills in that region, but it seems like every Goodwill except for that one recognized what they had. And there's like an actual rack that says Huckberry site or Huckberry wholesale or something, or they don't have that rack. It's in the regular shelves, but they're priced at like 13, sometimes 20, sometimes $40. So we got very lucky. They must have just put that stuff out. Well, they did, because it was the new color, but like I just happened to be at the right place at the right time, because all those other Goodwills know exactly what they have. And I can't source from stuff that it's that expensive. So we got really lucky.
Yeah, I was excited. We have a good morning from Florida. Mm-hmm. Have you ever stopped sourcing from a store because prices got too high? Yes. Yep. I mean, we still go sometimes, but there have been some we've had to avoid.
Yeah. There are some that we've stopped going for prices, for attitudes, honestly, or maybe like in the case of the bins, for example, we did really well at the bins for a while, and then the last like several times we've been there, it just wasn't good, so we stopped going. But we always seem to circle back and try it out again. Like, we never completely discount a store and say I'm never going back there, because typically what happens is stores will start to price things up really, really, really high, and then they won't sell them. And so like several months go by and the manager will be like, well, maybe that wasn't a smart idea. Maybe we shouldn't be marking up all of these brands, and then they go back on the shelf. And then you'll go through a phase of that later on too. Are there some other reasons we don't go to certain ones?
Employees, some of the employees.
Yeah.
Can really send me over the edge sometimes. We just have some, like, there's this one specific one. I'm gonna call her Shmamie.
Shmamie. Let me put this on silent. I'm sorry. It's on vibrate. It's gonna bother us.
She just drives me insane. Like, she's just so hateful when you come in, and she's just like, I don't know. She like honestly makes it seem like you're the worst person in the world, and like I don't feel bad about what we're doing, and like it's not even because we're a reseller. She just literally hates everybody. Yeah. She maybe does not like me, but I don't know. Most of it's just honestly beyond that. It's the availability to go get things. So like as Cayley said, we'll try things like one time. If it doesn't go good, we might give it a couple weeks or like try a different day of the week or whatever. We don't just one and done. We'll try different days, we'll try different times, we'll essentially see if there's any way that we can make a store work. Ultimately though, the biggest thing for us is if we keep going and there's just not enough for us to pick up. We can't keep going to a thrift store to pick up 2 items and think that that's justified, especially when we're driving out of the way to go to it. So
yeah, another reason we've X'd some of them out is just because even though one might be a good thrift store, it's not worth the drive if there aren't other thrift stores around it that we can also hit the same day. So we've also had to exclude some areas just simply because we don't want to drive an hour to only be able to hit one good store. Yeah. And then the other ones surrounding that are total trash, so we can't pick up anything. It's just like not worth our time. We might as well go somewhere, but those would be reasons we'd X out of store. That was a good question. I don't think we've ever gotten that.
Hello, my biggest question right now is whether I should grow more quickly or wait for sell-through rate to increase. I am at about 550 items in my store and sell about 3 items a day consistently. I think only you know that. I think it depends on what you're picking up and how much you're picking up. And I think it depends on really what that sales option looks for you. I mean, growth comes very slowly generally. I'm not going to say you can't like keep striving for that next thing, because really if you want to keep growing, I feel like you have to take steps faster than maybe you necessarily want to. But if you've been selling for 6 months and you're not, the next month or so not starting to see some sort of increase, you might want to look at your processes. I would also tell people in general to look at processes before you look at any form of growth, because we thought we were ready, we were not ready.
Yeah.
And now that we keep adding other people, like every time we go to add somebody, we sit down and we say, okay, where are we at? What do we need? What's working? What's not working? We ask our girls what's working, what's not working.
Yeah, you don't want to snowball bad habits. You want to snowball good habits. So really get those processes down. Like Nikki said, only you can really know that. Like if I don't know what your sell-through rate is, but like, let's say it's 5%. For us, that would not be a sell-through rate that we would be happy with. So we would not want to grow until we got figured out whatever it was that was causing us to not have a high sell-through rate. But if your business model, like you're comfortable with that, you expect that kind of sell-through rate and you just want to push the gas and move forward, you could totally do that. Just overall, my opinions on growth are you definitely should grow slowly. There are definitely times that in my own business, I have full throttled something and it all ended up working out in the end. But like, I definitely think I tried to grow too quickly sometimes, which had its benefits. Now I'm, further ahead than I expected to be. But at the same time, like there were a lot of growing pains that I might have been able to sidestep had I not grown so quickly. So we always recommend growing slowly. This is actually a concept I was thinking of on the way to work. I was kind of thinking of like a 10% concept, always striving to every single month just increase by 10%, never to go over 10%. So like people thinking about increasing their listings, they're like, I'm currently doing 20, I want to bump up to 30. We don't recommend that because that is a 50% increase on what you're doing. So no more than 10%, in my opinion, on really anything, and just work slowly perfecting those processes over time. But I'm guessing if you're asking about sell-through rate, it's probably a concern of yours. You're probably not where you want to be at, and you should probably look at your sourcing practices and listing practices a little bit.
You also want to be reliable, and I guess think about not just for yourself but employees if you have them, but you also have to think about how reasonable that goal is. So, for us, we might say, okay, we have to source X amount of items, list X amount of items. This is what we're doing. And it might not seem bad, but think about like weather hits, somebody gets sick, you have to take time off, something happens. Like, you also need to allot for fall safes kind of in that level. If something happens, what is your backup plan? Because a lot of people, I feel like, jump very quickly and then don't have backup plans. And when they don't have backup plans, then it makes it really easy to just fall off
We kind of
the trail you're kind of on. Yeah.
We kind of did that
struggled.
with our first, not you, but our first full-time hourly employee here at the office.
Oh my God. We made so many mistakes. She was a dumpster fire. I'm just full transparency. That was a hot mess. I shouldn't say this, but you know what? I'm in that mood today, so it's just coming out. This person went from not being able, quote, not being able to do 5 listings in a day because it was just too much and it was too stressful. Our brand newest girl lists 35 items a day, plus most of the other stuff that she was doing. And I just don't understand how I was so dumb to not see through it, but whatever.
Yeah.
You live and learn. We wrote a lot of rules after that one.
Yeah, and you do the same thing with yourself too. Like, not, we have employees, so a lot of people are like, I can't relate to that, but like the same thing applies to you. You might not be seeing something clearly because you haven't taken a moment to step back and go, what are the possible outcomes, good or bad, that could happen? And a lot of people just press the gas and they're like, it's all gonna work out, and then you're like, oh crap, I didn't think about this and this. I didn't think about how my shipping is going to significantly increase. I didn't
inventory
think
systems.
About how my supplies are going to be more expensive because I have to buy more of them because I'm listing more items. So definitely take time to grow slowly. I think that is the Beth method for sure.
Beth method. I love
Beth
you.
method.
I love you.
Shmamey.
Her real name's Amy. I was just trying to go off of it, but it's fine. Shmamey. That's what we're calling her for now.
That's a good question.
How did you get started reselling? My story's quick. Cayley called. Do you want a job? Yes. The end.
I was working a full-time, like 80-hour a week, like no exaggeration, for a long time at a company that I had worked for since I was a teenager. Grew up, through that company up the corporate ladder pretty quickly and got used and abused time-wise there. And I was like, I can't do this anymore. And during all of that, I had been using eBay as a side hustle, and it had been growing. And I was like, man, I see a lot of growth potential here. So it was just a combination of being frustrated at my full-time job and having that on the side and going, you know what? I like this better. I think I'm going to go ahead and make the transition. I can see the growth.
That's all she wrote. How long does it take to photograph and list one item? Would you share some tips to speed this up? I was just thinking about that. I'm pretty sure it takes between 7 and 8 minutes. I was thinking it takes about 3 minutes to photograph and 3.5 minutes for us to like complete the listing, but that's assuming it's already there. So I would say like another half minute to a whole minute to actually like draft if you were going to do that first. So probably like 7 to 8 minutes. My tips are: make your photographing / listing space very condensed, because the less walking you do, the less time you're wasting. Y'all can't really see our space right now, but it's very, very narrow, very, very small. Essentially, our girls make like a giant circle. So here's a rack. They go from the rack to the wall, to the table to measure, to the scale to weigh it, and then back to the rack, and they just keep moving in this like box. I think that helps.
Yeah.
The other thing I was gonna say is bulk functions. So like, if you're gonna do 20 items, I wouldn't do a photograph for one item and then go sit down and list it. I would do all 20 photos and then do all 20 drafts and then do all 20 listings and then all at one time, because it does make it go faster. I don't know.
I would say on average, just because, I've talked to a lot of resellers. I used to consume nothing but reseller content. and I still do consume some reseller content and I talk to fellow resellers, but I would say in general, if you are able start to finish list, that doesn't include sourcing. That's just photographing, completing the draft, hitting list, sending it off. If you're able to complete anywhere from 10 to 15 an hour start to finish, you're doing pretty good. Like as an average, if you can do 15 to 20 on average, that's like you're excelling at it, in my opinion. But we do a lot of what I would consider things that maybe you would not involve in your process. So we add measurements, we add a photo of the weight, and all of those things take additional time that if you are not doing that in your business, then your timing should be faster. So I would just kind of consider that as you're doing timing. But I would say if you are between 12 and 15 items an hour start to finish, you're in a pretty good place. Some other things that we do to kind of speed things up is we kind of got rid of a lot of the fluff. You know, I just mentioned we have additional things like measurements, but we do that to actually prevent time with customer questions later on. But we actually stopped doing background removal. We stopped being so picky about how our photos looked. And we just, you know, we're not as dainty. Everybody that we hire, like everyone's like so careful with the items when they're photographing. It takes like 10 times longer to fold the item. Now we're just slamming it out. We've practiced so much, like we just have kind of a rhythm and muscle memory of things. So practice, proximity, bulk functions, all great things to increase speed. And if you're not already between 10 and 15 per hour, then I would try to get in between that range.
Agree. Sold. Okay. Good morning from Texas, Georgia, North Carolina, Pennsylvania, Wisconsin, Florida, North Carolina. And Taylor has a question. What would you say is a good price for a pair of jeans or a top? I'm in Canada and jeans are $9.29 Canadian dollar and tops are $4 up to $8 in Canadian dollars almost everywhere. I'm gonna figure out how much is Canadian dollars.
So yeah, we're obviously doing the US dollar, so I'm not sure what the exchange is.
0.74. Let me get my calculator here.
So it's relatively close. We're at about 75%.
So 687. That seems like it's reasonable about to what we're paying.
I just want to caution everybody. I get a lot of like negative comments on my channel, and this is not directed at you, but a lot of people ask very direct questions like, what should I do about this or this or this? And it's like, it really depends on your business and your situation and what you find is good. You might find that your profit margins are lower than mine, but you're happy with them because it's what's available to you. So I'd really heavily consider all of that as you're asking these questions. We pay $4.89 for tops here usually at like a regular Goodwill, and then we're comfortable selling them for $25 and up. That's what we're comfortable with, and by doing that, we end up making about a $15 profit with that. And obviously that's before paying employees or supplies or anything like that, but just like right off the top, your cost of goods and generally eBay fees, you're going to make about $15 on that in US dollars. So that's what I'm comfortable with as like a baseline. But again, it's going to be different for you in your area. If that's your only availability, then you might have to be okay with purchasing things at $4 or $5, but set yourself a higher bar for an average sale price and say, I'm only going to pick up $30 tops and up if you're not comfortable with that profit, if that makes sense.
I would say have a percentage, know what that looks like for you based on what your sales price is. We get stuff very cheap, honestly, in a lot of places. Like sometimes 99 cents. Like it's very cheap. And I know some people have some like stink over that, but I would just say, like, you know what you can get things for, figure out how much after fees is worth it for you and stick to that. That's kind of what we do.
Yeah.
Hello from Chicago. Meg, we had somebody from Chicago asking if they wanted us to send us some stuff because they had some good Goodwills there. So just Just let you know, we're coming to Chicago, it looks like. Jacqueline, what are your favorite brands to pick up? Bucket list brands. Let's do both. Let's talk about your favorite, I'm going to call them, quote, everyday brands. Not saying they're everyday, but like everyday high stuff. Not, I can't say high dollar sales. I'm just saying like good
Favorites.
favorite.
Like I get excited when I find it.
Yeah, but
Every
like
day.
average.
Yeah, okay.
Average. Not like Bolo.
Okay. Right off the top of my mind, I'm thinking like Eileen Fisher, Lily Pulitzer, and like I really love finding John Barbados for some reason. In the men's department, I just really love it. How about you?
Mine's Lily. She's my girl. Like I love finding her. She's so pretty and she's bright. And I don't know. I feel like I can spot her anywhere. And Lululemon. Like I just feel like that's for me is like always a good like Vuori. I can smell it. No, I don't care about Vuori. Like it doesn't have that vibe to me.
People are laughing at that video where you're like, I can smell it.
It's so true. Like I'm not even joking. I will literally be a freaking basset hound in there sniffing out the Lulus. Like it's legitimately a thing. I promise. Go sniff some Lululemon, you'll find out. But Lulu is like, I know it's not trending as good as what it was, but like it's still like that aha moment for me.
It's usually the one that we look at each other, we're like, I win today because I found Lululemon first.
Yeah. We like to have competitions too. Like Cayley and I will literally get in the car and be like, who had the highest dollar item today? You win, I lose, or vice versa. So, what about Bolo or like bucket list brands?
Man, my brain is going blank, but
I was sitting here thinking, I was like,
I know that you guys like tell me, like you guys will message me on Instagram and be like, look what I found today, and I was like, oh my gosh, I still haven't found that yet. But I'm trying to think of some. What was the one our sourcer got the other day? Oh, Jenny Kane. I've never found Jenny Kane, and I feel like it's one that like you should be able to find at least once, and I've been reselling for years.
Got one.
And I have never personally found that. So like Jenny Kane is on my bucket list. I've also never found in person a Nilly Lotan item, but I think that's just because I was just made aware of these brands like in the last couple of years. So those two are on my bucket list. I've actually, to be honest, I've found like a lot of the holy grails. Like, you know, we found Double R, Ralph Lauren. I found a 3D knit multicolor Kuji sweater before. So like, I have definitely found some really good bolos. I definitely still have like a bunch of stuff on my bucket list, but that list is slowly coming down.
I want to legitimately make a bucket list, like a sourcing bucket list.
We should.
An actual spreadsheet of all the things I want to get, and I want to print it because something about the satisfaction of the actual drawing, marking out. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that'd be good.
I don't know. I can't say I have like a bolo that like I'm really hunting for, but like when they happen, I'm like, oh my god. Like those purple jeans, you literally had a conversation with me about them. I skipped them. I don't know if I told you that. No. But I was in the store and I skipped over them. Like I walked through and I was like, those are really ugly. And I was like, that's a stupid label. Like, I'm just being full transparent. Like, that's what my brain was thinking. I was like, that's a very boring label. I bet that's nothing. And I literally went like, I don't know, 5 or 6 pairs of jeans past that. And then I was like, wait, I'm pretty sure Cayley said something about the color purple. Maybe it was purple label. Maybe it was purple jeans. I don't know. I was like, I'm just going to compliment. I went back and I was like, holy crap. So I picked them up. That's how my brain works, y'all. Like, that's what happens. Like, Cayley tells me one time about a brand, and I see a label, and I'm like, oh, I'll never forget it. But that was it.
I saw someone said Magnolia Pearl. That is one that I haven't found either. So I'd really like to find that. I'm just, you know, to be honest, I'm just learning about new brands all the time. This weekend, I just went in the Solds and was like minimum of $35 and up, and I was just like scrolling through some of these brands that have been selling for a lot, and I'm like, I don't know these brands. Like, I feel like I'm just now starting to get a good grasp of some of these higher end brands. But let us know your bucket list item down below. But I do think we should make a list. I think that would be fun.
Yes, I'm game.
We should do a bucket list bingo. That'd be fun.
Like a legitimate bingo card?
Yeah.
What do we win?
I don't know.
Y'all, this is what happens with us. Literally, okay, so we created this, like, we're calling it the Strive for 5 list with our employees of, like, things that is like essentially the best top-notch employees ever. And we decided to make it a competition. And I was sitting with Cayley and I was like, well, what do we get them? And we were like, I don't know. And Cayley was like, I have no idea. And I was like, I know. And without even hesitating, I was like, $500. That's what's on the table. And she just looked at me like, okay. So we bet our employees $500 to see who can get to be the top notch. But no. Bingo winner does not get another pie in the face. Because
bingo as a group.
Cayley will win. And I need to pie her in the face. What we did say, what'd you say, 200? If we got 200 likes, you'd get pie in the face?
That is not what I said.
How many did you tell me? You did say so many and you would take a pie in the face. And you said, it was on a live too. And you said...
We'll have to go back because I don't remember that.
Yeah, you did because you were like, and I hate stuff in my face, but I would do it for that. I feel like it was like 200 or 250.
I feel like it was probably like over 300.
Okay, 300. Would you do it for 300?
300 likes?
300 likes, not 300 views. 300 likes, a pie in the face that I get to deliver because I have been waiting for this moment.
Oh my god. I guess.
Okay, y'all, wake up your kids. 300 likes. I will pie Cayley in the face. And I promise I will, like, make it the best you've ever had. I will just, like, full on.
Someone said it was only 3 or 4 lives ago. Guys, I can't remember what I had for
breakfast. It happened. I don't know. I think that's Kelly Dawn.
Mm-hmm.
You are backing me up. This did happen. And I will go back.
Going up.
Yes. I will go back and find the live where this happened. Because she did say, and I feel like it was, like, 250. But she's saying 300. We'll do it.
I don't remember the number. I have a very poor memory for anyone watching. It's really bad. Yeah.
I am not. I'm very good. Like, I will literally see a brand tag one time and I can tell you what store it was in. I can tell you what aisle it was in. And I can tell you what was around it. Like, my brain works like that. Okay. Keep going. We are going to make a bucket list thing. And then maybe we can play, like, bingo with you guys. We'll create some bingo boards and I could send them out, and whoever wins the bingo, I don't know, I'll send you a surprise box of inventory. Deal?
We're gonna have to talk about this because I don't know how we're gonna prove that people got. We're gonna have to talk about it.
I mean, it's like the trust system. If people want to be shitty people, let them be shitty people. That's on them. Okay. It is like we push this channel on, like, honesty and being genuine, and if you want to be that crappy of a person and lie about it, then that's on you.
Okay, so we will create a bingo game of a bucket list, and the prize can be, we'll send you a small box of inventory.
5 items.
5 items, but we will have to get back to you about the rules on that.
Yes.
We'll have to discuss it,
I'll
but
have
yes,
to
we can do that.
Make the bingo boards and then come up with the rules. Probably give me, like, 2 lives. You know what I mean? 2 lives from now, I should have bingo boards prepared generically. And we'll have some rules. Yeah, have some rules. And I can, like, send them out. And I'll do, like, a random jumbo. And we'll figure out how many things are on it. And if you lie, I ban you from the channel permanently. Because nobody likes liars. Just saying.
We haven't done a giveaway in a while. We need to do a list perfectly giveaway soon.
Okay, I gotta quit
inventory box giveaway soon. That would be fun.
I'm so sorry. I'm, like, in one of those moods. I'm very ornery today.
I know, you're adding to the plate, but it's fine. It'll be fun.
Girl.
It'll be fun.
That's so easy. It's like a one-time thing.
It does not sound easy to me.
I got this. I will handle this in my personal time. At home. Away from
We're going to have to get a good box together for some people.
Yeah.
Good one.
None of that crappy stuff. Okay. Can you explain exactly how you drop posh prices? What percentage, how often, and do you send bulk offers or just price drops? That's from Tess.
Tess, we only do price drops on Poshmark once or twice a month, and we do it on closet clear out days. And we do that because if you're not aware of closet clear out, if you drop your lowest historical price, meaning that the lowest price it's ever been by at least 10%, then that day only Poshmark will notify the buyer that they can get that price drop, plus Poshmark will pay for their discounted shipping, no cost to you as the seller. Like, Poshmark pays that. So it's a really good opportunity to move out some items. Right now we chose to only do it once a month now, but I was doing it a couple times a month. But I just use Posture VA. It is an extension. The link is in the, if you go to the description of any of my videos, it's in the Linktree. There's a coupon code. There's like a free trial. It's super cheap. I think it's only like $25 a month. Pretty much a no-brainer. It does sharing for you. It sends out offers, stuff like that. And it also has a bulk price editing function, which is what I use to drop prices on closet clear out. I do 10% on closet clear out. I go click, 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 send, and I choose anything older than 90 days because really I'm just trying to move out older items. That's literally like 30 seconds on Posture VA during closet clear out day in the morning. Bunch of sales rolling. Bunch of lower ASP sales, but a bunch of sales.
I was watching this Poshmark live last night.
Like a live selling show?
Yeah. And I was thinking, what if this is going to be speedballing things in front of you two people, I shouldn't, but here we are. What if we had like a discounted it so many times kind of thing, and after so long, like 6 months, we just did a Posh live show with it.
Like
because a
they
lot of
could
her
get
stuff
inventory.
was pretty cheap.
Yeah. Could do that.
I think we should try it. I think that would be a good idea. She had some pretty good luck, and I feel like if we had good enough stuff, live shows are drawing people in, and we'd already have pictures for it. So
yeah,
I don't know. I was thinking we could think about that.
We could try that. I'm still not in live shows yet, though. I think you still have to be invited, but you guys can let me know. I don't think they've rolled it out to everyone, and I messed up by not getting in the beta program when we were invited.
Yeah.
So
we should do that soon.
Yeah, that'd be good.
Can you oh, that's the same question. Sorry, guys. Local Goodwill prices are $9 for a dress and $10 for jeans. That just means whatever you find, Nicole, you're gonna have to sell for a little bit higher. Price wise. eBay Poshman. I love your screen name. Like, that's legitimately the best. Do you ever average the whole haul so that you can pick up some maybe higher priced items?
I never understood that reasoning because you're still picking up one item to like, so do you get what he's saying?
Yeah, I was just gonna say, I feel like I kind of do mentally sometimes. Like, not the whole haul, but like if I find a Lily Pulitzer and it's like 99 cents for some reason, and I find I don't know, Eileen Fisher and it's like $7, and I'm like, really, I shouldn't pick this up because it's $7 and I really don't want to pay more than $5. For me, the difference between the Lily Pulitzer and the Eileen Fisher makes me feel like I can pick it up and it's fine, but I don't do the whole haul that way. I feel like it's like a give and take. There might be times where I might splurge a little on something because I know the average of pretty much everything I'm picking up would come to be about the same if they were both $5, and I would pick them up if they were both $5. So why would I put something back that's $7 when I'm saving $4 on the other?
I do understand like when it's those numbers that you're throwing out, but there's some people that are like, that will do like, okay, I can sell this blazer for $100, but it's an $80 item. And then because I've gotten other things for, $5, I feel justified in getting that because it's going to sell quickly. Like in that case, to me, it doesn't make sense because on that one item, you're probably going to lose money based on like all the time you're going to put into it and stuff. So like, I do see what you're saying. Like I do feel like kind of cost average that way, but when it's
I feel like what you're saying
close,
is if you're not losing money on the item, it would be justified. As long as you're still making money on every item.
A decent amount of money, yeah. We kind of do that. I kind of do that, the same thing that you said, but not on like those slow, like little slim margins that I see some people do. I'm like, that just makes no sense to me. You might as well just leave the item and then make a better profit on the other items.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
It's a good question.
Can you please explain, Melissa, can you please explain how the campaigns work in promotion section on eBay? I've been using the same campaign since day one, but I don't understand what I should be doing with it.
I also do not understand that. We don't really use promoted listings. And when we do, it's because an item is so old that it's not moving by dropping prices or doing little edits and tweaks. So then we'll try to promote. But I usually just do whatever the default is. So like I really don't know the answer to that. We don't use promoted listings a whole lot.
What did your process look like before hiring any help?
To be honest with you, I was pretty sporadic. I would just list whenever I felt like I had time. Before I had employees, I was part-time most of it. When I finally went full-time, I tried to like dig a little deeper, but it honestly took me several months before I started being like, I'm going to consistently list. Um, but I tried to use up every space in my house. I tried to start learning bulk processes, and I tried my best. At the time, I thought I was super efficient. I was not. But at the time, I tried to do my best to be as efficient as a one-woman show as possible and use up all the space that I could before hiring help. Looking back, I definitely could have squeezed a lot more out of myself. But I do remember the turning point in which I was like, I'm going to be consistent. And I was making a YouTube video and I was like, I'm going to challenge myself to list 10 items every single day for the next 7 days. And I just like forced myself to do it. And I remember how hard that was at the time. Like, it was everything in me to get that done every day. And it took so much time. But it was that point after I did that for 7 days and forced myself to, I was like, oh, I can just do this every day. And then that's when I started looking at hiring help and stuff. But I still tried to squeeze out everything that I could when I was by myself.
Good morning from Iowa, Illinois. Good morning, love your channel. A new part-time reseller here. Appreciate your videos on organization and efficiency. Welcome, welcome. Irony, I'm glad that your Goodwill's marking things down and doing sale days for you. That's awesome. Hey from Montana. Question, when you do closet clear out, do you do the actual price or the lowest price? I think you have to do lowest price.
Well, right? So on Posture VA, you can choose. Are you going to drop the actual price or are you going to drop the lowest historical price? In order for it to qualify for that discount on closet clear out day, you have to do the lowest historical price. So we do lowest historical price.
So I tried 90-day items and really got no traction, but I did actual price in all my closet and got several good sales. That's awesome. Is it possible to rearrange your closet so like items are together? Are you assuming like in the totes, or are you meaning like
I think they mean
virtually?
Poshmark closet.
I don't know.
I would say this is just my opinion, but in my opinion, that would be a waste of time. I think that most people use the search bar to look for stuff. They're not typically, unless you've got like a huge following for a certain aesthetic, most people aren't going in your closet and looking for like items. They're probably finding your items through search. So in my opinion, that would be a waste of time.
Let's also talk about the grocery store method where they put all the good stuff right in the middle of the store because they want you to walk through the rest of the store. If you put all your good stuff in the middle and they have to scroll through all your other stuff, maybe they'll find something else that they just can't live without.
It's a good call out. Never
grocery
thought about
store method.
Yeah.
That's why they put all the good stuff in the back. Liquor stores in the middle. They got a plan. Telling you. Snowy Wyoming, Virginia, Massachusetts. Everyone hit those thumbs up. Jules says it. Hey Joe. Hey girl, hey.
I feel like that comment we got about they like the organizational efficiency videos was back at the beginning of the live when we were like, do you guys have a topic that you want to talk about or like videos you'd like to see? So just a call out there. Do we have any tips or something we're doing new on like efficiencies or organization lately? I was trying to think of something.
Nope. Whole lot of nothing. I mean, we are keeping things cleaner. I mean, we're trying. Honestly, though, like, we have so many people sending stuff. The stuff's been a little crazy. Plus, we bought out a store. So that's taken some time to work through. We're still working on that. It's been like 3 weeks. Also, we are traveling on Thursday to meet up another girl who has a death pile that they want us to buy out from underneath of them. So like that's gonna be more stuff to work through. We have been working on efficiencies. We did spend some time timing stuff again. We have some other thoughts, but I want to try them before I like splurge that stuff to you guys first, because if I hate it, then I don't want to derail you guys. So let us test out a few things, and then maybe next week we'll have some stuff to bring to the table as far as new efficiencies. But
something we've been doing that is slightly new that I don't think we've talked about a whole lot on the channel, maybe here and there, is since we do have multiple people working within our drafts, we now have symbols for each person that we put in the SKU, and it makes it really easy for each person to control F and search their symbol and be able to find their drafts and be able to work on their drafts only instead of having to sort through and remember which ones are which. So like if you've got, husband and wife team, or you maybe have an employee, or maybe you just want to label, certain batches a certain way, we have been using symbols in our SKU to kind of like start batching stuff together. So that's been pretty helpful.
Sorry, I got cold.
You're okay. I was wondering where you were going.
It was chilly over here. We turn the air down in the morning because it gets very hot during shipping. But then it gets very cold after shipping.
Yeah.
So, question. My photos keep coming out warm tone on the iPhone camera. How to change that to get accurate colors of the clothing? Y'all, I'm gonna be honest. don't have an iPhone. You should be to adjust like your brightness and stuff to help with that. But Kayla, maybe we have some iPhoners in here who can help kind of walk you through what works for them. Kayla Brewer, guys, if you have any comments on iPhone adjustments, reach out. You could also look at like actual lighting for your location. Yeah. But
I was gonna say, most of the time when people have color issues, it's not your phone settings, it's actually like the lighting that you're using. So like if you're just using your regular house lighting, most of the time it's warm tone bulbs. Mm-hmm. And that might be the issue. You need to get some cool daylight cool tone bulbs for either your lighting kit or your overhead lighting or whatever. Most of the time that's the issue.
Cheyenne says, good morning. Do you guys ever feel overwhelmed in the thrift store from rude people, feeling of missing out on good items, looking at new racks with other people while other people are, etc.? If so, any tips? Thanks. Hit it.
Every day. It's gotten a lot worse lately. I feel like we talked about this maybe in a couple lives ago, but it's definitely more competitive. I will say that like I feel the heat, but it's not enough that it derails me. But it does get, more than anything, it's not even the fact that other resellers are there, it's rude people. Like that is what sends me off, and I think she'll say the same. Like that can just like completely ruin our whole day. Tips wise, my tips, like I usually just ignore and avoid. There have been times I've gotten a little snippy with people if I feel like they push the envelope too much, but in general we try to just like stay out of it and avoid it, because that just wastes time if we get into an argument with somebody. But I will agree, it does become like very overwhelming. One tip I have is to go first thing in the morning. You're going to see a lot less people there. You're going to find the better stuff. If we could get to a store right when they open, we would be there right when they open, because you can avoid a lot of that headache.
Number one tip, tell people to have the day that they deserve. And I swear it works every time, because then they're like, were they telling me to have a good day? Did they tell me to F off? I'm not really sure what happened. And it just makes you feel better. Also, don't like let it derail your whole day. Like if you're in a store and you're really just not feeling it, like Cayley might not want me to say this, but I'm just going to say it because I'm sending it today. If you're in a place where you don't want to be, or you're just like mentally not feeling it, like I will 100% leave and go somewhere where I am feeling it. Only because, not every day, but like there's days where like I just have days and I just cannot deal with something. Over there in Butterfingers, like I just can't. There's some people that I just don't have the mentality to deal with some days. And I feel like if it's going to derail you from doing what you came there to do, you're better off to drive 5 minutes up the road to a different store and be in a better headspace, clear your head, and like be able to function. If you're going to be miserable and like have no focus when you're there, I think you're better off to just find somewhere else that you can go and be more focused in.
That's a good call out. I'm kind of the opposite, because I tend to push through that even if it makes me more miserable. But I will be honest that Flint and Tinder haul that I found, I told you, I was like, people were so rude to me that I almost left. And then I persevered through it and found all that stuff that day. And had I left, which I almost did, I wouldn't have found all that stuff. So I just think it's interesting, everybody's different perspectives. Someone I saw in the chat, they were like, I don't let anything get to me. I don't take anything personally, which we usually try not to, but man, some days people just, it's like one thing after the other.
Just remember, it's a reflection of them, not a reflection of you. So, do you think it's important to start a YouTube channel for your reselling in conjunction with starting your eBay store?
No.
I just started reselling in May and just found your YouTube channel. Thank you so much for your information. Welcome, Super Collier 4. Meg says she does have some great stores in Chicago. It is really insane how accessible big brands are here. If you need advice on a few stores, I'm happy to let you know locations. We might reach out to you.
Did we ever hear back from that person?
I don't know.
I don't think we have yet. I need to check.
Good morning. Good morning. Little Miss Nat, shout out to you for sending all these links. I appreciate you.
Yes, thank you for modding.
How do you feel for a good item? Oh, I'm still going through all the hangers at the stores. I was like, what do you mean? How do I feel about a good item? I feel great. The best way I can explain it is to feel for like texture and quality. I know that doesn't really make sense, but think about like, okay, I don't know if you have a Walmart near you, but I feel like Walmart's everywhere. So go to Walmart and just like walk through the clothing section and just run your hands. And you're going to realize everything feels very thin, very lightweight, very cheap. I don't know how to say it other than cheap. It will feel very cheap. Then go to like, I don't know, think of like an athletic-y store. I don't know what you have near you or where you are.
Lululemon.
But yeah, Athleta, Lululemon. There's places like REI. Like there's all kinds of different places you can go and check them out. I'm trying to think of how to say this without writing myself out. I recently went to an area somewhat near us that is like nothing but high-end stores, and I literally just spent my entire day going through Tommy Bahama's, Free People's, Marine Layers, like all kinds of different stores that I would never shop in myself personally, but like walk through them and like felt a lot of the materials to just like check them out. There was a Lululemon there. You could do the same thing. Like once you know what that feels like, you'll be like, oh, you won't forget it. You'll start getting in the habit. It's very like thick. A lot of times you can feel they're like heavyweight or heavy quality, soft textures, silky textures. I don't know how to explain it other than that.
It's definitely a trainable skill to have. I feel like you do have to practice it in order to get it. So one of the things, like when Nikki was hired with our new person, it's so like your instinct wants to go through every hanger because you feel like you're gonna miss something, and I just had to tell them like, look, it's okay if you miss something. Like force yourself though to try and cherry pick. Just force yourself to do it, and over time with that practice you're gonna see. For me, like yes, feeling wise definitely helps, but also like visually, some things I feel like people don't talk about is once you sell some higher end items, you'll start to notice like similarities in things, like certain stitching. And so when you're passing over them instead of touching them, you'll be like, oh, that kind of looks like something else that just sold, or that kind of looks like Anthropologie, or that kind of looks like Lululemon. You know, you'll just start to, over time and practice, start seeing similarities in fabrics and textures and stitching. And you're just like, it'll click one day, but you have to force yourself to try, and you have to be okay with knowing, I'm going to start cherry picking. I have to be okay knowing that I might miss something, but it's going to be better in the long run because I'm going to develop a skill that is going to make me 10 times faster later.
The other thing I did, like starting off, is even if I was going hanger by hanger, when I would find something that would be good, I would skip over it, go back a little bit, run my hands through to see if I could like feel the differentiation between the two, to like train yourself. Like, you know, it's there, but like it's hard to like know it's there. So I'd be like looking over here, running my hands through it, you know, just trying to like see what's going on, see if I could feel it out, feel it between what's next to it. Normally, say you have like, again, I'm just picking on Walmart, poor Walmart today.
They have some gems.
But you feel it and you're like, okay, this feels cheap. Then you go to the next thing and you're like, wow, this feels pretty thick or pretty substantial. Hashtag word of the day. Then you go to the next item and you're like, wait, this feels, again, very cheap or very thin. Then you're like, oh, okay, now it makes more sense. Start with like things like cashmere, right? Super fuzzy. Generally, you can pick those out. Linen, that like weird, almost like scratchy texture. Start with the easy things like that, silks, and then go into more of, again, the luxury material.
Yeah.
Do we take just any offer that is submitted? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. I throw my phone so many times. Like, my screen is literally shattered from the amount of times I've tossed it over stupid offers.
I left someone on red this weekend.
Good. Was it me?
No. No, it was an offer because I was like, I am so tired of countering you. And they they commented, I don't know if you saw it, but they were like, I'm so sorry if you're watching, but they were like, honestly, my offer is really good. Like, that's actually a decent offer. The items that you are selling, like, other people have sent me offers for the offer that I'm giving you, and like other sellers are doing it. And they were like, honestly, at some point you're just gonna want to get it out of your closet. And I was like, I'm done.
I will purposefully not mark this down for you.
So I didn't decline. I just left it there because I was like, no, I'm not dealing with this.
Question. I have 358 items in my store and have 151 sold in the last 90 days. Can you tell me how to calculate sell-through rate with those numbers?
That's pretty good. Assuming that you do not sell on another platform, do you want to help them calculate because you were just doing the store reviews?
Yeah, so essentially what you want to do is I always divide the 151, which is the amount that you sold in the last 90 days. I always divide that by 3 just to get your 30-day total. So let me bring out my phone here and find my calculator that I don't know where it's at.
Something I think a lot of people forget while she's pulling this up is eBay solds will show you 90 days. That might change soon because they're talking about possibly showing longer than that, but currently it's only the last 90 days, which is why she's dividing by 3 to get a month's worth.
Yep, so you're going to get a month's worth. And then what you're going to do is you're going to divide that by your total number of listings that you have to kind of get what the average of how many you've sold versus how many you have. And it ends up being 14%.
That's good.
Goal is always 10% or higher. Good morning. We already talked about Magnolia Pearl. Yes, thumbs up. 300. Cayley gets pie in the face. She said it. Y'all come in. I'm going to put this up here. I got it now. What is the best method for if I have a huge pile of clothes I need to process and photograph but have little storage? Where's the best place or way to store that huge pile of I need to process?
Well, I'd say just get it processed if it were me. But we try to take advantage of vertical space. So like we started by just having a bunch of totes on the floor. Now we've graduated to like, we use a table almost as a shelf. So now we've got, you know, stuff underneath the table, stuff on top of the table. And then who knows what that'll end up being. But I would just say as much as you can use vertical space to your advantage. But ultimately, like, if you got a big pile, you might as well just process it that we can fold it and make it more compact and get it in your inventory.
Kelly wants to play bucket list bingo.
I saw a lot of people were excited about that.
I found Purple Label, but never found Teaks or Rothy's. I'm pretty sure Teaks are falling off the face of the planet.
I've never found Teaks.
Pretty sure they're falling off the face of the planet.
Are they?
I don't know. I'll have to look now. But I'm pretty sure when I looked like 6 months ago, they were not as, like, desirable as what Rothy's were. And I was sad because that was on my BOLO list.
Rothy's dropped a little bit. You know what I am sad about? Because I do find them often now?
What?
Allbirds.
Yeah.
I used to love finding those. And
I think
now,
they scared everybody.
Yeah, now they're not selling. And I find them all the time, even in great condition, but I can't justify picking them up.
Gunny Sacks, is that how you say it?
Gunny Sacks.
Gunny Sacks.
Prairie dress. That's on my book.
Johnny Was.
We found Johnny Was.
Yeah. New with tags.
Yeah. I have never, that is probably, that's when I was trying to think of on my bucket list that you guys messaged me about on Instagram is a Gunny Sacks prairie dress. I've never found one of those. That is definitely a bucket list item for me.
I feel like the majority of my listing time is spent on researching the items for details, etc. How much time, if any, are you spending on this?
So in the beginning, we spent a lot of time, but what I would say is this is again just my opinion, do what you want, but if you were like working for me and we were training you, we would be like, spend the time now up front to start learning what all of those drop downs mean, so that moving forward you can list instead of like one by one. Like, just go ahead and figure it out. That way moving forward you can list items quicker. But I don't know, we get this question a lot. I think we have this misconception out when we're sourcing too, that people think we find the style name of every single item.
No,
we do not do that. So like, a lot of people will find every style name for like J. Crew, Loft, and stuff like that. Like, we just get her done and list it. We only spend a lot of research time if it's like a higher end item, but I would say do your best to spend the time up front to learn, you know, what certain styles or features are, because it makes it easier.
Just want to say there's 290 people on right now. If 10 more people wake up their kids, or I don't say 10 people, but 10 people go wake up their kids, and everybody likes the channel, Cayley will get pied in the face.
Someone said, cry for me. I wore a Gunny Sucks prom dress, and then they said, but did I save it? I did not.
Oh my God, every time. Okay, this is really side related here, but I found this ad this weekend for a 70s Fisher Price. Try that farm. Try your hand at farming, or whatever farm. Those sell for like over $150. I still have one. And I was like, go keeping this. My grandma has all the originals. Like, when my grandma, I love you. But when it happens, I will be a millionaire off of her house alone. Legitimately. That woman has like original Nintendos and whatever those Atari things are. Like
Ataris.
Yeah. Like what I'm doing.
Remember those Bratz dolls I brought in?
Yeah. Those sold fast.
Yeah, I had 2 Bratz dolls from my childhood that were new in box that my grandma saved for me, and she was like, someday these are going to be worth something. And I was like, yeah, okay, grandma. And so I had them for years, and I had 2 of them, and they sold for like I think about $200 each. And I was like, holy crap. So it makes you wonder now. You're like, what should I hold on to now that here in like 10 years is going to be worth a whole lot of money? But you don't know.
Yeah. I'm like hoarding everything.
I'm not.
I am.
I'm a minimalist. Get rid of it all.
Bearded Poketuber says he's looking for made in USA Converses. That's his holy grail.
Yeah,
like to find.
I think those are vintage ones. Yeah. My sister found, I don't know if they were made in USA, but they were like a vintage old school one that she showed me. They probably were one of those made in USA ones, and they were destroyed, and she sold them for like, I don't know, I want to say like $70, and I was like, really?
What do you find? This is going to be interesting. What section do you find is the most annoying section to go through?
Dresses.
Shoes. I hate shoes.
I don't hate dresses, but it is frustrating. Your arms get sore when you're like this, and I feel like you also can't see the color tabs very easily because they're up high. And then I'm like, I'm looking through a million dresses that aren't going to sell for anything.
It's because you're not short enough. If you get underneath the tabs, you can just see them right across the top. It's like walking through a sea of little fairies up there, just all across. You're just not short enough. You got to crouch a little. So
I might have to try that next time.
Yeah, you got to crouch a little. Hi from Texas. I'm taking you on my walk. Girl, get it, girl. You go for it. Love bingo. Everybody loves the bingo idea. I can see who is the creative and who is the cautious person in this team. Y'all, my entire life is the F it mentality. I just wing it and pray. And it works. It does. And then Cayley's back here, probably the reason why it works. No, I mean, I do feel like I can be cautious sometimes, like about stupid things. I actually hate change. Fun fact about me, like if you tell me that you want to change something, I could literally flip a table because it makes me that uncomfortable. But I'm also the kind of wing it where I'm like, let's just see what happens. I don't know. Anyways,
we pair each other well.
We do.
She reels me back in other areas too, where I'm like, let's do this, and she's like, I don't know.
Yeah, like when she came in and she's like, let's change the entire inventory system. And I was like, I quit. I am not changing 5,000 listings. I'll think about it. Walk me through it. Tell me that it makes sense. But then I was like, please don't do this to me. There's times. It's still on the table. It's not completely off, but
My sister does that method, and I got to see it last week, and I was like, man, if I could just snap my fingers and it just to be like fixed, you know, if we wouldn't have to go back through and comb, I'm like, that would be great, but
yeah,
we ain't there.
by the time I find any bucket list or even Bolo brands around here, I am already seeing those videos. They say this brand used to be so good, but now it's trash.
That
So
was the
many
Dojo jeans for us.
times. Yeah.
Remember that? It took
Yeah.
forever to find Dojo jeans. It was like on my bucket list, and I got so excited. And we found like 2 in 1 week. There's a thumbnail of you holding them in one of those videos. And then I was like, oh man, we looked up comps and they actually weren't good, but we have to get it because it was on the bucket list.
And they still sold.
Yeah, they actually
for a
still
lot.
sold. I was surprised.
We've picked up a couple since then.
Yeah.
Shannon brings up a good point. For this bingo, we could do a photo with a specific background. That might be a way to guarantee. I'll get real specific on this. Y'all, don't you worry. And I know how to Photoshop.
That's a really good call out.
Do you know what your historical lowest price is? Do you
Nope.
put the prices back up when they don't sell? I have good stuff that has gone so low I can't make a profit or offer to likers anymore. Joe, we literally talked about that this morning. Like, Cayley and I were literally talking about how, I don't remember exactly what it was, but we literally sold shorts, and I'm pretty sure we lost money on them. And we were like, oh, God, we've got to figure this out.
Yeah, I mean, ultimately, whenever you can sell something for something, it's better than, like, just donating it, because although you can get, like, you know, a tax write-off for donating it, you also get a tax write-off for the cost of good, plus you get additional on whatever you make off of it. So it's always better to try and sell it for something. But it's like, man, when you put on all that effort of like shipping it out and stuff, is a $3 sale. Like, come on. But we know, we just go ahead and pull the trigger. We do not know what the lowest historical price is. But theoretically, like, if it's so low that you're worried about it, it's been sitting for a while if you're using our method of dropping prices. So at that point, I'm okay with getting rid of something. But we were just talking about seasonality as something we need to take into account a little bit better every year, and we're still working through that. But we do want to find a way, I think, to seasonally look at items that we might have been dropping prices on that have now come back into season. Example is board shorts. It'd be nice if we could create a system to go back in and go, okay, let's find all the board shorts, let's get them relisted and repriced. That way they don't end up selling for so cheap. But we're just not there yet. We just have not had time to create a process, but we need to.
I have 500 active listings. How many times a day do you set your closet to share? My business model is close to yours, getting ready to go full-time this year. So, nice. Congrats. First things first. We have ours set on twice technically-ish per day, up to as many as what we can.
So, Posture VA will like give you tips and instructions on how you should probably use their extension. That way you don't get flagged by Poshmark for having a bot. I think it's like somewhere around between 6,000 and 7,000 shared a day is what they consider to be like the danger zone of Poshmark flagging you. I personally have mine set to, I think it's like 6,500, no more than 6,500 shares a day, but we have 5,000 active listings over that now. So, which means I have it scheduled to share twice a day with a cap at 6,500 listings. So what ends up happening is it shares the whole closet once, and then it shares until it reaches that max, and then it starts over again the following day. I have started to push the envelope a little bit with that max, and I haven't had any issues. But we have a lot of stuff in our store. So my suggestion to you would be, if you have, Little Miss Nat said 9K shares daily max. So maybe I should increase that actually. But my suggestion to you would be to determine what you feel is your safe zone, and then divide that by the amount that you have in your store. Set your max, set your scheduling if you're using Posture Bay. Otherwise, do it manually. But I would say as many times as you can without risking getting caught.
Do you promote or run sales on eBay?
We don't do those promoted listings very often unless they are older items. Someone said they did 9.5K with no issues. All right, I'm gonna try it. My account gets flagged.
9.5. All right.
My account gets flagged. We'll see, but it'd be great if we could share, the whole closet twice. So it'll be like just shy of sharing it twice. We do run promotion slash sales on eBay, meaning that we do like if you spend this amount, you get this dollar off. If you purchase this many items, you might get a shipping discount. Yes, we run those. We actually have something going on all the time on eBay. It creates activity in your store, and I usually schedule them out. That way there's always something going on. We also have coupons that I have scheduled out for every single month for the rest of the entire year. So I don't have to like think about it anymore. It's already done. It's already there when we need to use them. But I do think that it is a great way to make sales. We make a ton of sales off of promotions.
How much time and energy do you put into preparing items for photographing, steaming, and such?
Not much.
Minimally. We only steam what has to be steamed. Everything else we just hang and photograph.
We do have to cut tags off or like tabs off of stuff. I feel like that takes the most time.
Tess, good luck on moving from 12 to 15 listings per day to 18. Exciting for you. Trying to be consistent, but I'm not. I'm a part-time listing 5 a day at night, but have a hard time to find time to source because my full-time job. I think a lot of people, if you're doing this with another job, like you're gonna have some issues. Just don't forget to use your scheduling feature. eBay scheduling feature is free, and Posh has always been free. So you guys can always do that. If you're only gonna have time to maybe do 20 listings, spread them out between the weeks so that it shows that you're active every day. Also, we're talking about dropping prices on Posh. Don't forget, if you drop them below $3, they go inactive.
Oh yeah.
Shout out for that. Hey, from Arkansas.
I was going to suggest, if you're a part-timer, and if you're a full-timer too, but like if you're a part-timer, really anybody, one of the best things we ever did was get a week ahead so that you have a little bit more flexibility, but stuff is still getting active.
Cayley, when are you bringing your sister again, or can you have her join the live?
I tried to actually, I wonder if she'll watch this, but I just saw her last week, and I actually tried to get her to sit down with me and do another video, but she was like, spoiler alert, but she is not where she wants to be with reselling, and she was like, I just don't know. I would rather do it when, things are better, are more consistent. And I was like, well, I think it'd be a great video to do of you going through that struggle and how to get back to it and what your plans are. And she was like, yeah, I don't know. So we ended up not doing the video, but I have talked to her. She is on board with doing another video. When that will be, I don't know. People liked having her on.
Yeah.
I don't know if you watched it. We talked a lot about just mentality and like how that plays a big role in getting stuff done.
It does. That kind of leads us to our next question from Elsie. How do you let perfectionism go? Ways to prep faster. I spend too much time steaming, stain removing, cleaning.
I used to do that. I used to be like, not that it's a bad thing, but I used to spend so much time worried about that. One thing you could do to kind of sidestep it is to not pick up items that require a lot of handling and input, so you can just get going. But when you're listing as many and bringing in as many as we are, just over time you're like, yeah, it's not worth it to do all this stuff. Like background removal, getting rid of that was really, I know probably didn't seem like it, but it was really hard for me because I was like, I really like how these look. It looks super professional. Like I just can't see it. But I calculated out the time I would save by not doing it, and I was like, okay, we're gonna try it.
Yeah, I think that everything is worth trying, and then if it affects your sales, then you should go back to what you were doing. But as far as like steaming for me, like, I don't know. I think there's things you absolutely have to steam. I think that there's a lot of times where if you just hung it up and took the photo and looked at it, you'd be like, wow, you actually can't tell that that's wrinkled. There are things like folding stuff properly that like I will ask the girls to spend more time on, just because down the line that helps make it easier. But I think maybe if you like had a list of all the things you feel like you're wasting time on and pick 2 or 3 that you have to get rid of and then keep a few, find a way to, I guess, appease yourself for what works enough that makes you feel like you're still reaching perfection, but not enough that it's slowing you down.
I think you should also do a list of like what would I lose, but what would I gain, and then maybe even time yourself doing it the way you're currently doing it and then the way you think you might want to do it and see the difference in that, because a lot of times that's the only reason we make decisions on adding or removing certain things is because we time it out and we're like, wow, this saves a lot of time, and that's when we'll pull the trigger on doing it.
Just a shout out for all the people who are talking about color warps with different phones, cameras, whatever that looks like. Each brand is going to be different. iPhone, Google, Android, whatever. Those are all going to be different. One thing that we did that honestly worked is we took all the lights away. And I know that makes no sense, but like we literally had, I think, a week where we went from 2 umbrella lights to 1 umbrella light to 1 ring light to 2 ring lights. And then finally we just took everything out and we tried it, and like the phone auto adjusted enough on its own that it looks a lot better. Black images was brought up. I think black images, the easiest thing you can do is take them in just regular plain lighting, like no specialty above it, or no special lights in it. And then if you have to, you can always adjust the brightness on like eBay or whatever, which sometimes we do. But honestly, generally, I found that it's better for us to just not add extra things. I feel like that makes it look gray, behind it. I don't know. I have issues with color blue on Google Pixel. Yeah, there's different colors. Let's see. A YouTube channel isn't a problem if you're already posting reels of thrifting on Instagram. It's content you already have. True. I was on medical leave and put my store on hold, and ever since I've been back, I have not had any sales. I've been back for about 2 months, and I'm listing more. You know more about vacation mode than what I do, or leave mode than what I do, as far as turnarounds.
Yeah, here's the thing, guys. If you make any, for the positive or for the negative, if you make any significant changes in your store, you're going to have a lag, and it's going to take some time to get back into a rhythm of sales. What's probably happened was that person put their store on vacation mode and then wasn't setting stuff active every day. So even though you put your store in vacation mode and your stuff was still available for sale, you probably weren't actively listing that entire time, or like you didn't schedule things to set active. Had you, and maybe you can tell me in the comments that you did, but had you done that, you probably would not be seeing this significant drop. But whenever you make any big change, whether that's you edit all of your listings or you stop listing for a week, it is going to take some time. And that's where a lot of people get super discouraged and they just stop altogether, or they're like so unmotivated because of the low sales that they just give up. But you have to keep pushing through and just continue to be consistent every single day. The sales will come back. It will start being consistent again. But again, positively or negatively, it takes some time. We just this past week bumped up to 40 active listings a day. It was only a 5-item difference, but we're probably not going to see that increase for probably a couple of months, just with how our sell-through rate is and stuff like that. So you just got to know, like, it does take time, positive or negatively, once you start putting the effort in.
Also, hope you're feeling better.
Yeah.
Do you guys have a long list of blocked eBay shoppers? How many people do you have blocked on eBay, if you had to guess?
I think it's only like 3.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Interesting.
It takes a lot of effort to block somebody. Like, I don't usually block them unless I feel like I'm being harassed, or maybe like it's a continuous problem with like a return or something. But no, there's just a handful on there. Have I maybe wanted to block some people? Probably so, but did I take the time to do it? No, and they haven't come back since.
Yes. That one is getting blocked as soon as it's over.
Yeah.
I had to argue with some lady forever. Eid1 brings up a good point. If you guys did not already figure it out, USPS is closed today. Good shout out.
Yes.
We do have our shipping packaged up. It's ready to go for tomorrow, but it's just sitting in the front of the building looking happy right now.
Every other holiday we forget. So the last live we did on a holiday, we were like, oh, yeah. We didn't think about that. We remembered this time.
Good shout out. Eid1 appreciate you. Poshmark needs to get on the ball with printing labels an actual purchase order instead of random XX sorting through a stack of labels for a certain order is horrible. Yes. You can control F and type like the buyer's name in. That's what we generally do. But it is a lot. I also batch them. I don't know how many, Adrian, you're shipping, but if we have them more than like 25 labels, we'll just do the first 25 and pull them off and pull those and then match. Mercedes, yes, we do accept returns on eBay. Little Miss Nat. I got a $30 offer on a pair of rare Nikes listed for $80. Hashtag nope. It's the hashtag that does it for me. Do you use a barcode scanner to help track inventory and sales? I also resell video games and consoles at conventions/expos, and I haven't figured out how to easily track it, so I write sales receipts. We do not.
Barcodes? No. It's an intriguing idea, but I feel like it would just take us so much time to even implement that it wouldn't even be worth it. We just handwrite on our inventory labels, shove them in boxes, and we go from there.
A lot of people with lowball offers.
Yeah. They've been worse than they've ever been. People are just hurting for money.
$4.30 on a $29 shirt I listed yesterday. That would be a table flipper.
You guys should always counter, though. You don't know if somebody will meet you in the middle.
Do you use Terapeak for comp research?
Not anymore. I find just with seasonality, it's a lot better for us to search like the most recently sold so that we know what to price ours for. If you do it on Terapeak, it includes, well, I mean, I guess you can narrow it down, but it's just, in my opinion, not as accurate as doing it the good old-fashioned way on the sold comps.
Miriam, when we schedule listings right now, we just schedule them all at once. When we first were scheduling them, we would go ahead and schedule them like every half hour throughout the day. The reason we stopped doing that is because our girls put them away every day where we have somebody here. We have them putting away the day of. So if we had them come in, they'd have to wait for all of them to be active. We just have them set for the same time each day and those go active. But you could do it either way. I don't know that it honestly makes a difference, but you could test it either way for your store and see what that looks like. See if it makes a difference. If you send a 10% offer with Posh or VA, will it then automatically send a 20% offer at some point also?
No. You set whatever you want the offers to be, so unless you change it, it won't automatically keep increasing the percentage.
Speaking of Allbirds, have you had any issues of listing them on eBay? I only list them on Poshmark and Mercari because I thought I heard something about them coming after sellers on eBay. Not sure if it's true.
That happened probably a year ago, maybe. They were going after sellers, and then people got really mad because they were supposed to be a sustainable company, but they were like targeting people for selling, like legitimate customers who wanted to sell their old Allbirds, not even resellers, and people got really upset and came after them. And then they put out a statement. They were like, we're sorry, we are here for sustainability. And then they stopped going after sellers. However, just I think after that event is right around the time that sell-through rate really started to drop with them. I don't know if it was because of that or what, but we don't really pick them up anymore to even know if we'd have an issue listing them on eBay. But I would just check the Vero list. Like, I should be careful when I say this, but if any reseller, including us on YouTube, tells you that you shouldn't list something on eBay or whatever platform, or you shouldn't do this, or this is coming, really verify that information for yourself. and figure it out for yourself. I would never just trust what a YouTuber is saying, because while there are honest resellers out there, I would say 95% of the time the information is false. So take it with a grain of salt. Check the eBay Vera list for yourself. Maybe get on some reseller Facebook groups where people can actually show the evidence of eBay telling them, hey, you're going to get in trouble. But don't just blindly trust somebody just because they hear things through the grapevine.
True that. Sold item on eBay that sold previously on Posh. As meticulous as I am human error is still a thing.
Mm-hmm.
Offered to substitute an item at 3 times the price, but they want refund. How long do defects stay on the account?
So there's a way to go about it without getting a defect. If you already have a defect because you canceled the order by saying you don't have it or out of stock or whatever, I don't remember how long. I feel like it's probably like a 6-month period. Maybe somebody can help me out in the comments. But in the future, we have a workaround for that, because if you select the reason buyer asked to cancel, you do not get a ding on your account currently. So what we suggest doing is we say, hey, we're sorry we don't have the item. It's previously sold. Like, that was our mistake. Would you like to replace this item up to a dollar amount, which it sounds like it's what you did. Someone says it stays on for a year. That makes sense. Or would you like to cancel this order? Once the buyer comes back and says, just cancel the order, then you then have evidence that your buyer asked to cancel the order. And so we always choose buyer asked to cancel the order. And I haven't received a defect on the account. Here's going back to what other resellers were saying, where they were like, eBay said they're going to start going after people now and looking into that. I've not seen it, but I'm just saying
it is possible.
It is possible. Someone said our audio is out. Can you guys hear us? And everybody said out of stock defects happen for a year.
Okay, good. I'm glad it came back.
Okay.
Y'all had me nervous for a second. Hi from Montana. Hyping myself up for 50% off day at Goodwill with my toddler. Praying for you.
You got
Lots
this.
of snack bag. So I worked at Goodwill up until recently. A lot of the really good vintage stuff, if it had any wear, would be put into our salvage bins to be sent off. How sad. That's sad. Unless the employees knew that it was special, which it was only me at my store. Ran a 50% off buy it now, no offers, 3-day sale, and finally got our first organic non-auction 100,000. That'd be nice. 1,000 plus day. The first day 800 average, second and third. Way worth it if you shop at bins primarily.
It's awesome.
That's cool. Awesome. Way to go, Ashley. Good morning. Has eBay changed their whole shipping method? I mean, padded USPS are not a thing for the past 2 days. Y'all, it is a mess. Paddeds are a mess.
It's a glitch.
It's a glitch. Let me tell you what you can do. Cayley has another way, but I'm going to tell you my way first. So what we found is I just put like a note in the SKU, like star, asterisk, padded. And then if you go into drafts and you select all the ones that need to be padded, you can go up and bulk edit and go to shipping, and the USPS padded is there. Cayley has another workaround.
Excuse me. I haven't tried this yet, but my sister called me this weekend and she was like, I don't know what's going on, but the patterns aren't working. I'm about to call eBay. Like, I don't even see it as an option. I was like, okay, well, let me know. So she said that she spoke with somebody at eBay, and the only workaround that they gave her, and they could not tell her why this was happening, but they said that it had something to do with the dimensions, and you had to put 12 by 9 by 1 as your dimension, and then like give it a few seconds, and that option will come back up. But I haven't tried that, but she said that's been a workaround for her. But in my opinion, it would be better to do it in bulk, like Nikki just said, because it'd be way faster for you. eBay, by the way, in case nobody's noticed, they're working on some stuff on the back end. That's why the listing tool has changed. And anytime that they work on anything on eBay, there's always glitches. So like, you just got to know as a reseller when you start seeing some changes, like, okay, glitches are about to happen. And that's why it's so important to get ahead, so that if you have a day like that, you can readjust and go, okay, I either can't list today and I need to go spend my day sourcing, or I need to call eBay, like figure out the workaround. Like you got to do something, but don't let it derail your whole day. Like expect for those things to happen. That way you can be prepared when they come.
Info for an eBay newbie. Any top tips, suggestions?
Info for an eBay newbie. I would just say the biggest suggestion I give a lot of people is to just get in there and try it. A lot of people are very hesitant. So they'll like look up a ton of stuff and they won't ever list an item. And I would just say, just get in there and try it. You're going to make plenty of mistakes, but you're going to learn from them really quickly. And eBay is not as hard as people think. You just have to get in there and try it, and you'll start learning all the little tips and tricks. And then be consistent on eBay. eBay really favors sellers who list something every day. So even if you can only list one item a day, at least get something on there to create activity in your store.
Sorry.
You're fine.
How big of a warehouse or work area do you have?
We are currently in a leased office, which is an open 2,000 square foot. And we're not completely filled up, but we're, what would you say, like 75%? We could squeeze out probably another quarter of the space if we were really organized.
Mandy said she has Posher VA or had Posher VA, and she did over 9,000 and was flagged. So I would say don't go over 9,000.
Okay. It's interesting. Like, you get so many different answers. I honestly think, this is just me throwing it out there, I have no basis or evidence for this, but I think as long as you like increase in small increments, in my opinion, like that's what flags it. If you're only sharing like 20 items a day to sharing your closet 5 times a day, like they're gonna notice that, right? So like I think if you're just over time edging a little bit, like you'll be fine. Again, I have no basis for that.
I will literally send them a copy of my pay stub and be like, I'm doing this myself. This is my entire job. It's just sit here and share this and see what they said.
That would be somebody's entire job if they had to. I don't know. The bulk tools aren't bad, but we have 5,000 listings, and I've tried to honestly share manually, and it gets to a point where you keep scrolling, and because we have so many listings, it literally freezes for me. So there's no possible way that I can share my entire closet all at once using their bulk tools.
Oh, okay. Do you have a standard counter offer message for Poshmark or for bundles? I have people start a bundle with just one item and just end up offering a discount on that one item.
I don't understand the question.
Do you have a standard counter offer message for Poshmark or for bundles?
Message? Yes. Like if somebody offers me something, do I send a message with a counter?
I don't know. Let us know, One Busy Mama to you.
I don't usually send a message when I counter. I just counter.
Jennifer brought up a good point. The reason why you can't mark below $3 is because the Posh fee minimum is $3.
That makes sense. I saw her comment. Sense. Yeah.
It's just crap we shouldn't have bought. Let's be honest. It's just stuff that we shouldn't have bought.
Yeah.
eBay, does it matter if you put the word size before medium? We do. Before size M.
I haven't really tested it like with or without it, but all of the successful sellers that I know, and also the success that we have had, we use that word before. And I think it works. I don't necessarily have any basis. I can just tell you that we are successful using that. And I mean, when I search something that I'm looking for myself, I always put size M or size medium or size L or size large. Like I don't leave size out when I search something. So in my opinion, I think it's something that buyers search for. Therefore, I would put it into your title, and it just makes things a lot clearer too. Like if someone puts M in a title and they don't put size before that, you're like, your buyer, as smart as some people are, other are not as smart, so they might not know what that means. So
Mandy, we do use a listing service and we were doing bulk background removal, but again, it was just an extra step we were having the girls do, and we thought we would try it and see if it made a difference, and it didn't make a difference sales wise for us. Obviously we do still adjust brightness in eBay occasionally if we have to, but for the most part we don't, and it hasn't made a difference. But yes, we were using it or doing it in bulk.
List Perfectly does have a really good photo room integration. I
love photo room.
I really enjoyed using their background removal tool. It just, as much as I enjoyed it, it made much more sense for us to just nix background removal altogether, and we save a lot of time doing that. All right, we are at an hour and 30 minutes. So, oh, we just went over 300. Oh, it was at 301 people watching. I think that might be a new record for us. We are going to blast through the rest of these questions because we need to get off of here and work. So if you have any questions that you haven't asked yet, make sure to put them down below because we are going to wrap up here.
Just Jules says, everybody hit the likes. Cayley wants that pie, crying emoji pie.
I have to bring more people on next time.
Can you tell me how to delete a listing, then repost it? I don't see a delete option. It should just be end. I'm assuming you're on eBay. If you're on eBay, you should be to end listing and then go to your unsold and then just relist from there. I don't know if there's a way on Poshmark. Do you know? I don't think Poshmark. I mean, you just reshare stuff, I feel like, on Posh.
Yeah, on Poshmark, you share your item to kind of refresh it. But if you wanted to essentially relist it, you would want to copy the listing to create a new one, and then you would want to delete the old listing.
I have no idea what is with the lowball offers lately. I had a few this week, $20 on an $80 bag and $12 on a 30 pair of pants. I was shocked.
Counter.
Mm-hmm. KB Worth Saving says, why not add a symbol for each season so relisting is easier? That'd be true. It'd be something you guys could do. If you had, a certain size store or whatever, you know what I mean? That would be an easy way to do it. But I think we're honestly at so many listings, it would still just be a pain in the butt. Like, searching for that would just be difficult anyways. Like, for me, it would be easier to just like look through and see the photos of like coats or jackets or long sleeves and move. But
that's a good idea though. I feel like we would get stuck in like those transitional pieces. Like, I don't know if you guys just saw that haul, but I talked about how we just took time and pulled from our death pile, essentially, our unlisted inventory. We went and pulled like the coats and different things so that we could list that first before the spring items to give it another chance to sell. But there were some things like, we left some of the like sweaters in there because you're still transitioning into a spring season where it is cold sometimes, and so some people are still going to wear cardigans and things like that, or lightweight jackets. Like, I feel like that line would be very hard to determine, but I like the concept. I like where you're going. We'll have to think about that one.
Now people want us to come to Chicago sometime, someday, eventually. Is there a way to partially close or hold Posh Closet? I need to keep heavier breakage home goods on hold for a while, but want clothes to be active. Somebody said you can mark them as not for sale. That's a good shout out.
Yeah, that'd be the only thing that I could think of. Even if you mark it for not for sale though, just keep in mind like that listing is still becoming old. When you mark it as available again, I believe it is not going to count as a new listing. So you might want to just consider that when you decide to make them available again.
I'm hoping you know what this is, but would you consider doing a video on eBay's BULQ? Do you know what that is? BULQ? I was trying to think about what the...
I have seen it, but I don't really know what it is, to be honest with you. So I probably cannot do that.
Found a pair of new with tags vintage jeans with a stain on them. Should I remove tags and wash or leave the stain?
It's up to you.
I would look them up both ways. Like, I would look them up as vintage jeans with a flaw and see what they comp as, sell-through rate and price, or vintage jeans pre-owned with no stain.
There's
You
also
also
a
have-
chance it might not come out.
Yeah, that's literally what I was gonna say. What if you take the tags off, it doesn't come out? Where is it at? Like on the item, can you hand wash, spot clean just that piece and try without taking the tags off? That's probably what I would try first. Is there a way to do that in bulk without putting the entire closet not for sale? I don't know if you can put them do that in bulk. Mark not for sale.
I was trying to think if maybe you could do that on Poshmark, but I don't think you can. There might be a way. There might be a way, and I've never done this, so I really have no idea, but there might be a way if you like go to your Poshmark closet, if you filter to the home category, there might be like a bulk function that possibly that they might, like Poshmark might offer to mark everything as not for sale, but I honestly don't know. You might have to do one by one.
Any help determining youth versus women's items? Some items seem like they can be either.
Just look at it.
I would look at sizing. Like if you have an extra large in kids versus an extra large in adults, like that's a huge size difference. I'll think about like Old Navy. Old Navy typically will say like 14, like extra large 14-16, where like an extra large in Old Navy women's is just going to say extra large. Junior sizing are the odd sizings. That's one thing you could look for to like determine juniors versus adult. Honestly, I would just compare measurements, like, and use your best view.
Yeah.
Do you have store categories on eBay? If so, how do you break up the categories?
Yes. We used to be very specific. We did like women's tops, women's jeans, men's accessories. We stopped all of that and we just do women's, men's, kids, home, and other. And the reason we did that is because it makes listing a lot easier for us. Plus, I find that most people, once again, shop using the search function. It is not very often that they're actually browsing our store that way, and when they do, they're usually filtering on the sidebar anyways, not via my store categories.
Sounds good. Talk about putting them on vacation mode or vacation hold now. That's about it. Anybody else have last minute questions?
Hey Taylor.
Hey.
You just missed us. Taylor Exchange just joined.
Sorry.
We were about to get off. Sorry.
Anybody else have any last minute questions? I'll give you 2 minutes. Top rated seller plus. Does this actually help listing in search?
I mean, I don't know necessarily if it helps like in search. I don't think they directly say we're going to bring your listing to the top, but I do think that it is like a buyer confirmation to them that you're a trusted seller. So when they see that badge, they might be more likely to buy, but as far as them like bringing them to the top of the search, I doubt it. But it is a good thing to strive for because you can get certain discounts by being a top rated seller.
I think that's it.
It was on baby duty. Sorry.
All right. Well, we're going to leave you all there. We've got lots of stuff to get done today. We will see you guys next Monday. Have a good week. Bye.
Bye.